This is going to be about Fluval. I did have a video that I posted quite a while ago and it got a lot of traction. A lot of people commented on it and said thank you for the information and whatever, because like in the beginning when I was trying to learn about Fluval, there was no information on how to water it or how to really care for it or how to look for it or what it was I'm sorry. And my mom uses it primarily for her corms, growing her corms, unless she's using my little cup, which then we use pond, except I am testing a variegated Frydek corm, a large one, in the little cup I sell in Fluval, just to see if it is as good as the pond. So I will update everybody on those when it grows, or if it dies, or if it grows, right? You know, whatever. But she is going to talk about Fluval, her care for it, how she waters it, when she waters it, what she looks for, if she fertilizes it, all that juicy information, you know, how to get rid of mold, anything that kind of comes along with Fluval. Because you have to remember too, Fluval is, I wouldn't say you can't reuse it. You can reuse it, but she does talk about how to prep it to be reused, and they say don't reuse it, but you can reuse it. Lava rock is a very small, Fluval, sorry, is a lava rock that's very small, right? It's made for semi-hydro to hydroponic plants. You put it in fish tanks because it's a substrate that, you know, can be in water and plants can grow into it, grip it, and it's a great substrate. However, when you are using it in a pot growing system, wicking system, or whatever, that over time is going to break down to a mush. And she talks about that, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But I see a lot of people losing plants because they're not aware of that. You do want to sieve that out. You want to flush that sediment out. You don't need that. You just need the balls. Nothing else. Nothing else is good. You just want the balls. Sorry, I'm so immature. But anyways, so she's going to talk about it. So without further ado, I'll let her take over and she'll talk about that. And you want to hear it if you're interested in Fluval, or if you really want to make sure you're doing it right, because sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes we don't know. We don't know. We don't know everything. You know, I don't know everything. I have to ask my mom all the time for advice. I'm like, what is happening? What do I do? So it's okay to ask for advice, and honestly, the best place to go for advice are people like me, people like Melissa, people like Sydney, people like anyone else on YouTube that Hakuna Maplanta, I think is his name. I love him. Anyone like that actively is into their plants every day and posting content every day, they are taking mental notes of care for plants. You know, they're taking those mental notes and they're writing them down, they're thinking about them, and they want to give those to you so that you are successful. And that's really where all of this comes in. Don't goog stuff. Don't goog it. Come here. Not specifically me, but YouTube. There's plenty of us out here that do great. And we know what we're doing. You know, I'm very confident in my abilities, and I'm very confident in the advice I give. Sometimes I'm a little like, well, I don't 100% know, however, this is how I would do it. You know, so sometimes I don't know everything. But anyways, I'm going on again. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Enjoy. Do you?
Okay, so I've grown a lot of allocations in Fluval.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yes, a lot. Well, I'm trying to switch out to pond. So I have been growing in Fluval for over a year. I've grown at least 5,000 corms in it. I've had maybe 5 or 6 deaths, not the stick things, those not counting. But I'll tell you what I found it's from, that in my opinion it's from, is when you receive a bag of Fluval, open it up, look at it. If it's little balls like it should be, perfect, keep it. When you get to the bottom of the bag, watch out that it's not crushed. Do not put your corms in the crushed up Fluval. It waterlogs them and it stops their roots growing, and it basically kills off the roots. That's what I found.
Yeah, because what happens with Fluval, and I'm sure she'll talk about it too, not to interrupt you, but it breaks down over time. So the bottom of that bag is going to be extra broken down because of the weight and the
Yeah.
movement and all of that. So we just kind of watch for that.
Yeah, I've sent back a few bags of Fluval lately because actually for the first time I had a couple of corms die. Actually, I had a couple of babies not do well because of it. So I'd have killed more than 5 or 6 to be fair. I would have killed a few more than that. Anyway, whatever. Let's say 12, 15, but not a lot in comparison to what I've grown. I can't remember. My memory is real bad lately. But anyway, so what I like to look at is that the balls are intact and they're not crushed and it's not broken down.
Oh, wait, stop. Okay. Nick's calling, so it paused it. Okay, it should resume. Sorry, Karen. Okay. My husband called.
From where? Where should I resume from?
Okay,
let me just stop. So when you get your bag, then just check you've got little balls instead of the crushed up Fluval. If you get the crushed up Fluval, seal it up, send it back to Amazon and order another bag. Because you're basically, I don't know, you're stunting the growth of your allocations from what I can see in it. So I have been, and I never did, I have been rinsing my Fluval. Never done that, never did it. I used to put them in the pots, run water through the pot, and I thought it took all that sediment out. However, lately it's been coming a little bit more crushed up than normal. I don't know why. Other people are complaining about it too. So I've been putting it in a sieve and I rinse it thoroughly. I spray water through it to get all that broken down Fluval off, because I've realized the importance of getting that, it's almost like a silt, like a clayish silt it'll create if you don't get it off. And that bogs down the roots and gives them root rot and they die, even though it's like a semi-hydro, I would think. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I would 100% recommend Fluval if you're a starter, a beginner, anything like that. It's worked fabulous for me from day one. Never had a problem up until recently when it's been more broken down. What I've had as a general rule is when I have 2 leaves or more, I take it and I used to put it into a soil. Tasman made an alocasia chunky mix, which worked phenomenal. However, I'm a horrible overwaterer, so I still managed to kill a few alocasias. I might not have killed the corms, but I killed a ton of alocasias. I gave them root rot by overwatering, even in a chunky mix, because I'm just horrible. I feel like every time I water my plant, it's going to grow. It's got to grow, right? It needs water. No, it doesn't. But anyway. So basically, I would say, you know, Fluval for me has been a godsend. However, when you get to 2 leaves up, as a general rule, I used to take it out and put it into my soil. Now I've changed to pond because a friend of mine suggested trying pond, even though Tasman said to me over 9 months ago, try pond, Mom, you need to try it. And I'm like, yeah, I know better. I'm doing my own thing. I did not, apparently. Pond for me has been an absolute lifesaver. It's saved half of my, half of my collection, I would say. I was struggling with root rot in a lot of plants because I cannot help myself. I have to water. So, like I said, now 2 leaves up, I put them in pond. It's working fabulous. If I take them out of the Fluval, and there's a good root system and it's big, I put it immediately into one of these size pots like that, but it's got to have a lot of roots to do that. If it does not have a lot of roots and it's got like, quite a few little baby roots and whatever, I do Tasman's trusty little pots that have saved me. So Tasman actually sells these on Etsy. I've bought some from her. Actually, I've switched her out some expensive corms for them.
Yeah, you did. But I gave them to you for free because you gave me some variegated cupria.
And I do appreciate these because basically she's created a system that works perfectly for babies with a few roots.
Especially in pond.
Yeah, in pond. Specifically in pond for me. So she's made a lot of holes in this thing. It's very time consuming. I don't know how she finds the time to do that. But it's got a wicking system. So basically it's aeration, it's got its little wicking system. You can see the roots, which is fantastic. I love to keep track of my roots. I'll show you one just now that I have in here that has some roots that we can see.
And they've sold pretty good. I've been pleasantly surprised how supportive people have been about buying my cups. I've had to buy so many new ones and make so many new ones. So that's awesome. Thank you guys.
I don't know why everybody's not doing this. I don't know why these big companies are not manufacturing these things. You should patent it.
I'm telling you, it's these smaller Etsy pages, and I see it all over the place, people making their own. I have plenty that I just haven't listed yet of other sizes. And it's just, we come up with the greatest combinations of things, honestly. And then it just works well so much. Yeah, because we have to make what we think is going to work because we can't find it out there. So we just make it.
Well, you did great. That was a massive help for me.
Well, I got the idea from you with your black ones. I just didn't like the black. She has like this. She'll show you.
So I did this, and there's a couple of problems with this, but I love it. I love them. I still use these, and I'll tell you why. I still use these on certain plants that have bigger roots because they like to pop out the side. It'll drive you mad because when you take it to repot it, you have to be very careful not to break up your roots.
Oh, that drove me crazy.
However, I like the extra aeration on them for certain plants. Other plants, not
and they love that, honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, the cup around it does keep, you know, it not super drying out because of the aeration, because that was always my issue with bigger ones in those. But that cup underneath it keeps it less oxygenated so that it doesn't dry out instantly. Yeah. So it's
for
like
lazy
a good
waterers, this is I can't overwater that, so it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's so easy.
I love it because I only have to replace my water tanks when they get like a bit emptier. I have found something that I do want to share with everyone that I think is fabulous. The one thing I found about these things is in the trays that I use, they fall over a lot. It's very annoying because I've got Fluval everywhere, I've got pond everywhere.
And you grow so many.
I do. So what I've found is this burpee system,
which we'll link for you if you're
on
interested.
Amazon. Yeah, if you are. I can do anything to it because I am kind of rough. Oops, sorry, we got cut off. Not an important phone call. As I was saying, these are very stable. Love them. We'll link that. I have found that these tubs here that I put my corms into fits two of these perfectly next to each other. So I like to put these onto a heating pad. A lot of people don't use heating pads. I love them. Only for my Fluval and pond things, the babies. So when I'm trying to sprout a corm, I basically take a tub of that. Here. So there's my Fluval ones. I have a tub here. I found these great little inserts for the square pots that hold them stable too.
Not to interrupt you, but I had a lovely viewer comment and suggest we do an Amazon Marketplace storefront.
Oh, that's nice.
So what I'll have on there too is maybe I'll make a Bridget page. A Bridget tab. So like all of her things she's showing you right now.
Okay.
You can click on, Alocasia Bridget, and you'll get the tray she uses, the pot she uses, the inserts to hold the pots, all of her growing things, so that you can see if you like her stuff and how she grows things, then you can go and see exactly the stuff she uses and you can get it for yourself on Amazon.
I just like simple. I like simple, easy. I like things that cut down my time required to do everything because I have a lot, so it takes me a long time. So anything I can find like this that simplifies stuff and stops them falling over, stuff like that, I love. Okay, so this is obviously supposed to be about Fluval, but I got a bit off track. So I have a spray bottle like this, filled with filtered water. Do not use tap water. The chlorine will kill your babies. Well, that's what I found. Maybe somebody else is fine with it. But I don't find that tap water does great unless you've got like a filtering system or whatever on it.
Or you flush them regularly with like products because it will build up.
Yeah, sorry Taz. I have a filtration system on my tap for drinking water. That's perfect. Anything that you can drink, you can spray on your plants. It's just the chlorine that's too much in the tap water that hasn't been filtered, that's all. And a lot of plants that are grown from the beginning with it, I think are fine. I'm just not messing with it because I've had success doing it the way I'm doing it. So every day in this trays on the bottom of my cabinets, I take these things and I basically take this and I squirt them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm doing a bit less because I've already watered them, as you can see all that. So that's what I do. Now the important part of this is you don't want water sitting in the bottom like that. It's not great. I have had it before and it doesn't do too much until it's got roots, then it does something. So shake, shake, shake. Tasman taught me this. Shake, shake, shake till you get most of it out. It's not normally this bad. It's bad because I've just sprayed it double. So shake, shake, shake. There you go. It's basically done. You can see how the color changes on the bottom of the pot. Now it's ready till tomorrow morning. That's it. That's all you have to do.
And she sprays them every day, I believe.
I do. A lot of people do it every third day, fourth day. I'm OCD, as I mentioned, overwaterer. So I have a problem, clearly. So I like to do them every day because certain plants I have noticed dry out, the Fluval dries out and the roots don't. Jacquelines. Oh my gosh, Jacquelines need water every single day. I don't know what these Jacquelines do. I don't know if they're absorbing them. I don't know.
That's black stems for me.
It's crazy. But every day the Jacquelines are dry. So I just do them all every day. Shake, shake, shake. That's it. As for Fluval, that's about it. I have not tried Fluval in these yet.
Yeah, it worries me doing them in that. I see a lot of my customers do it and they seem fine.
Yeah.
I think we should test it, honestly.
I need to try it. I can't see why it wouldn't work as long as
I've seen
Fluval
people
can wick.
I've seen people wicking it in that. I've never tried it. It scares me a little bit, but
Just
because of the
bash.
breakdown and the way
Yeah.
it holds water, it makes me nervous. But I think we should test it.
Well, you would see it. Hey?
Well, a lot of my customers do it, and they've never complained, so it must work. Let's try it.
Yeah, I'll try some. I'll try some and get back to you with that. But for me, pon in these is working phenomenal.
And I grow my corms in those in pond, but I'm gonna do that in a separate video, so I'm not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Get back to you. But yeah.
I'm trying to go away from this a bit more because these are bulky and big and whatever. So I'm trying to move everything sort of across.
And I guess it uses
pon.
so much, right?
Yeah. And I mean, pon is no more expensive. I can then use a little thing which saves me a lot of cabinet space, which is fabulous. I can't find little pots that work that are smaller than this, so that really works. Other than that, about once every sort of, I would say every 2 weeks, maybe once a week, take your tray, take your whole tray. This is why I have these trays. Take the tray to the sink where your filtered water is or whatever, and I like to pour filtered water through each pot once a week, once every other week, and then shake, 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 of course. But I like to flush it out in case. I know people have mentioned that they've got springtails in Fluval when they've had Fluval before. They've had, the sediment breaking up. So if you flush it out, it gets that sediment out again, and it also gets rid of any maybe bugs you might have. I've never had them in mine. In the very beginning, I think what I saw was springtails. Freaked me out so bad that I started boiling water and pouring it through my Fluval before I used it. Don't try that.
It'll break it down.
Don't try down. It turned into mush.
Yeah.
So that was bad. Kind of learning curve, but I tried that.
But it's good to know.
Yeah, I tried that. But I've never had it again. I did see a lot of people complaining about that at that point, so they must have had some kind of problem with
Outbreak.
it. Loving the pond. Definitely rinse out your pond. I wasn't. Taz said, rinse your pond out, Mom. You should see what comes out of mine. Oh my gosh.
Gross.
It's like silt again.
Yeah, even the chooser says don't rinse your pond.
Yeah.
You don't need to, but god dang.
What comes out of that
It's
stuff?
nasty.
I've taken to putting it in a sieve now, taking it into the garden, spraying it with
And the problem, in my opinion, through my own experience, is that silt or like built up of clay on those stones holds water and it will actually suffocate your roots a little bit.
It does.
So it works kind of like vermiculite and like moss where it retains that water for so long. So I would flush it always. And we'll talk about that with pond as well.
Yeah, I have had some root rot because of that clay stuck to it, and then I realized I'm like, oh no, because there was a lot in the one pot.
In the basin is when I see it.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, okay, this is not good. So now I rinse everything off in a nice big sieve. I dry it out and I put it into one of my big, silver salad bowl type things, and it just dries out. I'll show you. It's just nice.
I love your bowl.
Nice and easy. I just sieve it. Sieve it. I have a spoon because
a noodle strainer works for me.
Noodle strainer. I first do the straining it, then I throw it in here, And then every couple of days I stir it so that
doesn't get yucky.
Yeah, the water, but I haven't had any yucky pond yet. I've heard people talking about algae in Fluval. I have not had that much. In the beginning I had a few, and I wonder if that's because it was broken down and it was creating no airflow.
Like mold.
Yeah. I have found with Fluval, you 100% want to have, I have my babies all on the bottom of my cabinets on heating pads, as I said. A lot of people don't like them. I do. I found they work for me. But I have very good airflow in my cabinets. I have fan system on every single shelf. And I find that reduces the algae and all of that kind of stuff and the problem with that. I will, in the next video we do on pond, talk about certain allocations that I found that do not like pond because they get edema really badly. And I figured out how to stop that edema. So that is really important because bambinos, silver dragons, dragon scales, portii and Sanderiana bulbarias all get horrible edema in pond unless you do what I'll explain in pond. That's worked for me again.
So let me quickly go back to, you've dealt with mold on your Fluval, right? I've had customers do it. How do you get rid of it?
Okay, so there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, I tried flushing it out. No, that didn't work. The mold just comes back every day. People tell you don't worry about it. It doesn't do anything to your plants. It did not do anything to my plants. It did nothing. It didn't harm them. It's just icky. I'm OCD about everything being clean, so I don't like mold on the top of my plants. Not a fan. So I took hydrogen peroxide and I mixed it 1 part to 9. So 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 9 parts of water. I mix it in one of those spray bottles. Where did my spray bottle? One of these spray bottles. Again, 1 part hydrogen peroxide, 9 parts water. I found that I think a quarter of a cup of hydrogen peroxide and 9/4 of a cup into this, fill it to the top. So that's nice and easy to figure out. And then I shake it up and I spray them. And the next day that mold is gone generally.
I need to do that on one of my ponds.
Sometimes it's persistent.
Yeah.
And then I'll do it for 3 or 4 days. Watch out, do not spray your leaves with the hydrogen peroxide mix. I found that it kind of burns them or whatever.
Scooch around the stems and only spray the substrate. Don't spray it on their leaves.
So same as if you're watering. Oh, shame, that one belongs to someone. Let's not mess with it. Somebody's. So basically, instead of spraying on top, I don't know how you guys water.
Perfect.
I like always, anyway, I never spray water or hydrogen peroxide, anything onto my leaf. I want to avoid spraying anything on my leaf because it'll get
edema
or they
mold.
burn, they do all sorts of things. So I always hit the bottoms like that when I'm watering on something that has a leaf already. So, shaking it.
Yeah, we also do not ever spray our leaves.
No. I don't spray my leaf with anything.
People miss their leaves all the time.
Oh, no.
We personally don't believe anyone should be doing that. Yes, it gives humidity, but it's a very limited amount and a very short amount of time that it gives it. It doesn't do any good for it. Certain plants, sure, but with any philodendron, anthurium, alocasia, I personally would avoid it because you're going to give your plant fungus issues. Unless they're in the perfect environment.
Oh my gosh, edema.
Yeah, edema.
And burn marks. And
when you have water on your body and you're in a pool and you're in the sun, you burn faster. Well, your leaves are also going to burn faster when you have water on them. So just avoid it. It's misinformation, in my opinion. Sure, it works for some, I'm sure, but...
Yeah, just for personal experience. We can say we don't know what other people works for them. We're not telling anyone to do anything differently, just from what we've learned. Try not to spray your leaves, especially not with hydrogen peroxide. I have heard other growers mention that. It burnt their leaves. I did not try that to test it out. I just went around them and it worked fine for me. But to get rid of mold, I think that did work for me. It got rid of it. Some of them were persistent and came back and I was like, oh, whatever, I've got to just put up with it.
Yeah.
But I do have mine on the bottom level of my cabinet. I do not need a humidifier in my cabinets. This tray of Fluval on a heating pad creates its own humidity, which flows through my cabinet and creates about a 83 to 93% humidity in my cabinets. I do not need to add anything else but that.
We should do a cabinet chat sometime.
I've done that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
Yeah. Because we attempted humidifiers and they just wet the leaves and it's just not
100% humidity we got to. My cabinets were just leaking. Water was on every surface in my cabinets. It was a mess.
And they definitely don't need that.
No.
But anyways, thank you so much for telling us all about Fluval. I'm sure people will definitely like it. I know people are very interested in hearing about Fluval, especially from my previous video that I did, which I'm actually going to change the title now to it having an updated video since people keep finding it, and will be brought to this one. So we are going to transition to the video of Pawn in a separate video. So if you want to know about Pawn now, how she plants in Pawn, how we deal with Pawn, flush, etc., look for our next video. It will be obviously titled Pawn Care, Pawn, planting, etc. So yeah, hopefully you found this informative and hopefully we answered any and all of your questions on Fluval. If there are any questions that we didn't address, feel free to put them in the comments. If it's something for her specifically, I will let her know since she doesn't check them.
You can also, I don't check the comments. Sorry to interrupt you, Tess.
No, you're fine.
I'm always doing that. But I think that's the way we work. But I pretty much, I'm on Alocasia Bridget on Instagram.
And I'll write it at the bottom here.
Yeah, and then if you reach out to me on Instagram, I 100% will get back to you immediately. I do check that 10 times a day.
Especially to reserve corms. That's how she'll, if you see her plants behind her and you're like, oh my gosh, I want, a silver dragon corm. Can you add me to your list? And then she will look at your username and she will message you.
Yeah. I keep a list, a wait list of people.
Up.
And then I also, if you have questions on Fluval or Pawn or anything to do with allocations that you need further or additional information or troubleshooting, always happy to help people troubleshoot.
And she does do private sales off of Etsy too for those types of things. So don't be bashful about asking her. She definitely she's a people pleaser, so she'll love that. But anyways, we'll finish this up here. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.